women into uncontrolled hysteria to prey upon the innocence of children.
Shocktails with Johnny Thunder.
I wonder if it isn't all a dream, a nightmare.
He's my Bubba from another mother. It's our master of ceremonies, Johnny Thunder.
Whoa, yo, what's going on, man?
What's up, kid?
Genius. I haven't talked to you since, I think the last time we recorded. What's going on?
Good for you.
I know.
Now, who is sponsoring your shenanigans or tomfoolery?
Well,
or whatever?
on my side of the bar this month, my nonsense is brought to you by 2SP Baby Bob's Stout. I'm almost afraid to ask what your shitacular made-up choice of intoxicant is this month.
How dare you?
Sponsoring my buffoonery is Coronavirus Light.
I knew it. You know what? I knew it because I was going to make a coronavirus joke, and I said, you know what? I don't want to steal his thunder, but I knew it that this is perfect. Go ahead.
Coronavirus Light, all of the infectious agent with half the calories. By the way, limes are mandatory, as you will need all the vitamin C you can get. Oh. Now bottled in Wuhan, Coronavirus Light.
I knew it. Oh, my God. We're like an old married couple. I knew exactly what the joke was going to be this month, but I restrained myself because I didn't want to steal that joke.
I am getting too predictable.
Yeah, well, but you know what? I dug it, so thank you. You made me laugh for the first time all week. Hey, everybody, welcome back to The Last Bar on the Left. My name is Johnny Thunder. I am the proprietor of this joint, and I'm bringing you Shocktails, which is feces-free since 2018. We're also sponsored this month by the letters F and U, and the numbers 66, 666, and 69. All right, let's get right to it. I have a bunch of things I want to get to this month. Chris, again, you're kryptonite. I've read some books, so I know that you want to tune out at this point. But the first book that I want to talk about, like the rest of the audience. So the first.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
We have an audience. Just to specify, can I get that coronavirus through the microphone? Is it contagious like that? Now I'm a little worried because you're. Oh God! What? Let me wipe that off my face. All right, the first book that I want to talk about is called Bad Clowns by Benjamin Bradford. Okay, now Bad Clowns, those malicious misfits of the Midway who terrorize, haunt, and threaten us, have long been a cultural icon and a staple at haunted attractions all across the country. This book describes the history of bad clowns, why clowns go bad, and why people fear them. Going beyond familiar clowns such as the Joker, Krusty, John Wayne Gacy, and Pennywise, it also features bizarre, lesser-known stories of weird clown antics, including bozo obscenity, Ronald McDonald haters, killer clowns, phantom clown abductors, evil clown panics, sex clowns, and clown porn. You had me at sex clowns. Carnival clowns, troll clowns, and, my favorite, much more. This book blends humor, investigation, and scholarship to reveal what is behind the clown's dark smile. I really dug this book. I checked it out of the library. I think at this point, love them or hate them, clowns pretty much are one of the most featured characters at haunts all over. It's, permeated all sorts of aspects of society, whether it's film, whether it's, cartoons, music, haunts. And of course, we had that the clown scare, easier for me to say, a couple years ago. So this is actually a really nice overview. If you're into clowns or you perform as a clown, I think you'd be interested in this book. So again, go check that one out. The next book that I wanted to recommend was called Myth and Magic in Heavy Metal Music by Robert McParlin.
Excellent!
Myth pervades heavy metal, with visual elements drawn from the medieval and horror cinema. The genre's themes of chaos, dissidence, and alienation transmit an image of Promethean rebellion against the conventional. What? In dialogue with the modern world, heavy metal draws imaginatively on myth and folklore to construct an aesthetic and worldview embraced by a vast global audience. The author explores the music of Black Sabbath, Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, Metallica, and many others from a mythological literary perspective. This book I dug. Again, if you're a heavy metal fan, this will be cool. If you're not, don't check this out. If you are, go check it out. Now, the final book, I haven't seen this one yet, but I think it's going to be released soon, and it looked like it was going to be of interest. It's called Monster Jukebox, A History of Spooky Music by Jim Magus. It's, I think it's about 412 pages of quote-unquote exciting and fascinating information covering all kinds of music from classical to ragtime to jazz, folk, country, calypso, psychobilly, gothic, punk, and many more. It's $40 plus shipping. It's said to be a tremendous resource for the monster disc jockey, Halloween party planner, haunted house organizer, and all people who enjoy things spooky. So go check that one out. Again, it's called Monster Jukebox, A History of Spooky Music.
And possibly haunt-related podcasts.
There's a couple magazines, comic books that I wanted to plug quick. You know, I've been talking up Creeps magazine from Warrant Publishing for a while now. Now, obviously, Warrant Publishing is a play on Warren Publishing from back in the day, who published Creepy and Eerie, and they have been publishing this new comic magazine called Creeps for a couple years now. And it's nice because they actually have a lot of the original writers and artists from the original magazine. And once in a while, they actually do a reprint from the old magazine. So they are now doing a spin-off magazine coming, I think it's November 30th. It's called Vampirus Carmilla, Terrifying Tales of Enchantment and Horror. So it's going to be the same kind of a thing. So it's going to be horror, sci-fi, kind of eerie, black and white comic tales, but presented by this new character, this new host is called Vampirus Carmilla. I've already subscribed, so once that issue comes out, it'll be after Halloween, but maybe we can cover it. Supposing there's a future show after Halloween, I will definitely talk that one up. The other exciting news that I thought was pretty cool coming, I think it's in April, Marvel Comics is doing a reboot of Werewolf by Night. Now, the original Werewolf by Night, of course, is the classic 70s character from, I think he originally debuted in Moon Knight, or I think Werewolf by Night was a title, and then Moon Knight debuted in his title. It was Jack Russell, who, of course, is the Werewolf by Night, and it's continued through present-day Marvel Comics. Well, this new Werewolf by Night is prowling the Southwest, and I believe he's a new Native American character who's suffering from a family curse. And he's out to try to protect his small town. He wants to protect his people, but who will protect him from the monster with him? Apparently, it's being written by Taboo from the Black Eyed Peas, and it's also in conjunction with a writer that I wasn't familiar with, and I thought this was a joke because his name's Benjamin Jackendoff. It's almost like Jack Mehofer from Stern. You know, so I was like Jackendoff. I was like, I was going to say, I was like, my God, that should have been my name on this show. And artist Scott Eaton. But, what's very, very cool about this is that for some of the alternative variant covers, they have the Japanese artist Takashi Okazaki. He is the Japanese artist behind Afro Samurai, which was a manga and I believe an anime and became a movie. So the variant covers are very, very cool from him. So I'm actually looking forward to this because, like I said, Werewolf by Night's always a big character, but I kind of like that they're repurposing him as a Native American and kind of redoing that story. So I think that's going to be kind of cool. All right, now let's get to the low point of every episode. Are we ready? The movie reviews.
How low can you go?
All right, so I have a bunch of movies I want to talk about this month. I have reviews of movies called Echoes of Fear, A Perfect House, The Tokoloshe, and Cupid, which of course is just in time for the big holiday coming up. That's the holiday where Chris sits in bed with his inflatable girlfriend and cries.
How dare you?
Moving on. All right, but the first movie I want to talk about is called Wrinkles the Clown.
Hey, Wrinkles, I need you to come get these kids. Yeah, I got a child that's misbehaving. $30, come scare them.
I found out about Wrinkles through a news story.
Meet Southwest Florida's Wrinkles the Clown. Hi, Wrinkles. I'm a reporter at the Washington Post.
I'm a reporter at the Naples Daily News.
I've just seen your story blow up online.
You can call him. He'll scare people for you.
You've reached Wrinkles the Clown.
You're scaring little people that can't defend themselves.
I'll take this baseball bat and beat your brains in.
You don't know if he's trying to do this for fun or trying to kill you.
is like a boogeyman situation.
Oh my God!
We know that there's a human underneath, and yet you don't know their identity, and that creeps people out.
You better be afraid of Rink. He's real.
By calling him, you're essentially inviting him into your life.
Now, this came out the end of last year, and I never got a chance to see it, but I finally got to see it. So, there was this whole... I wasn't even really aware of this. I don't know if you were, but there was this whole Wrinkles the Clown phenomenon. It's this online situation where it all started with this viral video of a silent black and white surveillance video that was uploaded on YouTube that showed this gross old clown kind of sneaking out from under this little girl's bed. And then they show him like disabling a security camera. So that sort of like took off virally. Then after that, he was spotted online pushing a shopping cart on the side of a highway in Florida. Then he was like walking around just holding some balloons in front of a house. And then there was a clip of him, there was a family having game night, and they saw him sort of through their Florida room out in the backyard. So there's this whole Wrinkles the Clown phenomenon. Soon, like, these stickers started showing up all over Florida, and there was a phone number where you could call. And apparently what was happening was parents were calling, or kids were calling, parents were calling. And the idea was that, it was almost like this boogeyman. If you don't behave, then I'm going to call Wrinkles the Clown. He's going to come set you straight if you're not a good kid. Again, I didn't know anything about this. So this movie's about an hour 20, hour and a half. And you're led through this progression showing these clips interspersed with actual clips from other kids. Basically, it's literally all kids, YouTube and TikTok and Instagram videos and Twitter and everything else. And they're piecing together, there's this old disheveled man, and he's this retired guy who lives in a van, and he does this clowning. And again, spoilers, if anybody wants to watch this, I am about to ruin it. So if you want to fast forward, if you already haven't fast forwarded through my segment, feel free to fast forward. What they reveal is that this whole premise that this clown is this old, 70-year-old who's doing this is all part of the internet hoax. And then they reveal it's like this 35-year-old dude who they still conceal his identity through blackened shadows on his face and voice modulation. But apparently then they reveal that this guy has basically done this whole thing basically as a internet hoax. And it's a whole experiment about how society and people react to online viral videos. So all of a sudden you're like, wait, so I've invested an hour in this old man's story behind the scenes, interspersed with all these like kids and their stories about contacting Wrinkles and their interactions with Wrinkles, and then all of a sudden you're left with this story of this guy who's kind of perpetrating this hoax on the world, but he perpetuates it through the stickers and through these fake videos and so forth. So it was a little bit of like the needle, like the needle just like completely went off the record. And I'm like, wait, so I've just spent an hour invested in this fake documentary. Now you're going to tell me 15, 20 minutes of what's really going on. And it was just a really weird documentary. So I walked away from this like, I think there was a possibility of having a good movie in here. I think there was something interesting about this idea, but I would have presented it indicating to everyone that how this guy came about, sort of this performance art. He's talking about it's sort of a performance art moment. It's a commentary and a social experiment in terms of social media and how people react online to things and how things grow and how things explode exponentially by, viral sensation. So it's interesting in that part, but, to kind of have the rug pulled out from under you. And what was really super annoying is, again, most of the film deals with showing videos and clips from other people's YouTubes and other people's sort of online social media, which they're really not that interesting. So again, I understand that this concept of Wrinkles the Clown is born of social media. So you're showing other social media, but I would have rather focused on the actual performer who's perpetrating this. I don't know if I'm explaining this properly, but it was kind of a mess. And at the end of the hour and a half, I was sort of like, what the hell did I just watch?
So would have it been better if they just snipped off the last 10 or 15 minutes of the movie? And
well, here's what I'm saying. Like, if you're going to kind of present this, it's almost like the guy, the performer behind Wrinkles the Clown, behind the viral sensation, behind the faux, sort of idea of this malicious clown that's going to scare your kids. I would have rather he just comes out. If you're gonna reveal yourself at the end of the movie and say to everybody, hey, this is a hoax. I did this as a social experiment to kind of see how people react. Let's just start with that premise. So you're not like leading me through a whole hour of buying into this whole thing and then going, oh, you've also been hoodwinked as a viewer. That's all I'm saying. I think there's an interesting movie here. I just don't think it's presented as well as it could have been. I think it's just very cluttered and confusing. So if you can see it for free, check it out. I think it's on Amazon Prime for free right now. I'm not sure. But there's some interesting stuff, but I don't know that it's necessarily interesting enough to recommend. So, all right, the next movie is called Echoes of Fear.
Do you know why your grandfather died?
It was a heart attack. Do you believe in ghosts?
Sometimes. Late at night, when I'm by myself.
Do you think he was trying to find something buried here?
Maybe. Maybe he found it.
After inheriting her grandfather's house, a young woman must confront the mystery of his sudden death and the evil that hides inside. Doesn't that sound exciting? Yes, exactly. So this movie is about an hour and a half, and it starts off basically, like I said, so this young woman inherits her grandfather's house, and I think it's like San Francisco or California somewhere. So the whole first, hour of this flick is basically a ghost movie. And, I pretty much hate ghost movies and like haunted house, movies, and there's ghosts and whatever else. So she finds out that she moves in with her boyfriend and they're going to sell it, but then they're staying there, and then there's like these like ghosts, and she sees ghosts, and the ghosts like are giving her clues and like hints about like something weird happened in the house. And her grandfather was involved in some like weird shenanigans. So it's like ghosts and ghosts and ghosts. And then she finds out there's like this crazy backstory of what her grandfather and his like best friend next door were doing. So then again, like the needle just goes like right off the record, and it veers into this serial killer slasher movie, which is the part of the movie I actually liked. So I was like, oh, like I'm not really into ghost movies, but let me just watch this. But then it turns into like there's this guy like in this black robe, and there's like this crazy white mask, and he's like tying up this girl and her friend, and he's gonna try to like drain them of blood and like kill them. So that part of the movie I liked, because then it like turned into this like crazy, like bizarre killer kind of movie. The acting is all over the place. The lead I actually thought was pretty likable. I've seen some other reviews where they said they thought the acting was all terrible, but I didn't think the lead was actually that bad. I thought she was kind of likable because she was just sort of a normal kind of young woman. She wasn't overacting, and some of the other actors are pretty bad. But like I said, when it kind of goes off the rails into this like weird serial killer kind of a vibe, that's the part I dug, because there's like I said, weird masks and whatnot. But overall, again, I wouldn't rent this. I wouldn't pay to see it. If you see it anywhere for free, it's worth the hour and a half. Nothing groundbreaking in terms of the story itself. Nothing really groundbreaking or different about the directions. It's competently directed. I thought it was competently acted by the lead. And like I said, when it goes into the serial killer part of the movie, I think it works better than the ghost story. But again, that's just me. So, all right, the next movie is called The Perfect House. It's going to be released on February 4th on DVD and video on demand. So this one's about 4 friends who rent an isolated lake house for a weekend getaway. While the dramas of the friends' relationships unfold, they are continually interrupted by the home's owner, a health-obsessed bodybuilder named Tad. Throughout the group's short stay, Tad's seemingly affable gestures take an eerie and sinister turn, turning their dream vacation into a nightmare. This is interesting. I think it was only God, I think this movie is only about an hour 15, so it's short, quick running time. It's along the lines of the, like the couple goes away and there's this like creepy neighbor and you're not sure what his intentions are. And over the course of the film, he shows his true sinister purpose and has this like big twist at the end, which actually isn't so far out of the realm of believability. The acting is okay. It's more of a suspense thriller film than a straight up horror. Again, I think the twist ending does end up in the realm of horror. I don't know that I would pay to see this, but I wasn't mad that I watched it. I was surprised. It ended up a little bit better than I thought it would be. Again, squarely within the realm of thriller, and people are just sort of in danger from this crazy guy who keeps just showing up, and there's some tense moments, and he's plays a lot of mind games with them, and inflicts sort of these like psychological games between the couples and so forth. So it's okay. It wasn't my favorite, but it was just okay. The next film is an interesting South African film called The Tokoloshe.
Ngiyakuthembisa dadewethu sizoba sonke futhi.
He is as old as mankind, cursed by the Great Father. He is as hateful as he is foul. He is the Tokoloshe.
Have you heard the old stories about the Tokoloshe that tricks children into trusting him before drowning them?
Now, this is about a woman named Busi who is destitute and has dangerously repressed emotions. She leaves the countryside and moves into Johannesburg to work as a cleaning woman at this really gross hospital in downtown Johannesburg. Desperate for money so that she can bring her sister to the city, she has to cope with a predatory and awfully corrupt hospital manager. When she discovers an abandoned young girl in the hospital who she believes is tormented by a supernatural force, Busi must face her own demons from her past in order to save the child from the abusive monster that pursues them both. This is interesting. Again, I'm always a fan of checking out foreign horror and various countries' legends. And apparently the Tokoloshe is a actual African legend. They start off the movie explaining the folklore and the myth of this demon. And they kind of weave this demon in and out of the story. It's weird because the story itself is about this woman who is very, very poor, dealing with just these terrible situations. And for the most of the movie, you're not really sure if there is a demon or whether she's just dealing with psychological issues, and some of the things that happen are just projections from her mind, and the fact that she's dealing with sort of this post-traumatic problems and stress from her childhood of being a victim of child rape and being abused and so forth. So part of the anxiety of getting her little sister out of that village is that she's being abused the same way that she was. But then there's some things that suggest there really is this demon that's after them and attacking this little girl in the hospital. I like the look of the film. It really does showcase the poverty and the dark, the dark blight of this city, and it's shot on location, and there are scenes shot apparently in the African countryside. So that's always interesting, and again, it is also in English, but then there's dubbed when she's speaking in her native language. So what I liked is you are invested in her as a lead character. But like I said, there's certain parts where you're not sure, is this just a psychological thriller or is there an actual monster? And I think the ending kind of falls apart when she goes back to her village and they actually show the monster. This is a movie where I think less is more. If they had just stuck to this idea of you see something in the shadows, or that there's something that's chasing them or is after them, it's almost like a physical manifestation of their like I said, post-traumatic stress and it is a manifestation of their mental issues. So I like that. But then sort of like when it comes out and it's bad CGI and they're like fighting this like ugly monster in their hometown, it kind of falls apart. So it kind of cheapens it and almost makes it like it was just done to attract a Western audience. If they had just stuck with the shadow and the suggestion of this legend and this creature, I think it would have been more successful. But I wasn't mad at this. Like I said, I think she's a very endearing character, and I think it was very well acted. I would recommend this one. You know, I don't know. Again, it's not so revolutionary, but just in terms of where it falls apart at the end, I think they could have done a better job. So it's a mixed bag, but overall, I like that one. So let's now move on to the finale. It's a romantical film called Cupid.
Y'all excited? Nice little setup, tomorrow night, so we can choose the Faye. But leave her alone, okay?
Didn't think you could get any lower.
Bye!
For the powers that be, take love from others as it has been taken from me.
Thou dare summon me.
So this is being released February 11th, again, DVD and video on demand. So the movie is about this girl who's being horrendously embarrassed by all the mean girls at school. Her name's Faye. She's also a practicing witch. She summons this evil Cupid monster to take revenge on all those who wronged her. On Valentine's Day, Cupid does in fact rise and will stop at nothing until all are punished. The students must figure out a way to stop Cupid and undo the spell before their hearts get broken, literally. So this movie, you will see this deranged, ugly demon Cupid. He not only shoots arrows through people's legs, through their eyes, through their heads, he pulls their hearts out. He also kills a girl by stuffing a dozen roses down her throat. And he also slices people's throats with Valentine's Day cards. So those are the highlights of the film. I enjoyed all the murders. I enjoyed all that stuff. It's odd because I think this was filmed in England, and half of the cast has British accents at this quote-unquote academy for kids, who all the kids look like they're 35 years old. It's also like Grease. It's almost like Rydell High, where like these, I'm like, I think she looks like she's like 38, but they're supposed to be high school students. And then some of the teachers seem to be British, but they're doing American accents because at certain points they sound sort of vaguely American, and then other points they sound British, but they're American, and it was all over the place. It's the level of a sci-fi flick. You know, it's a low-budget film. You'll probably see on Sci-Fi very soon, if not Valentine's Day weekend. The effects aren't necessarily that good. The acting is really not that good. But it's another holiday-themed killer movie with this supernatural Cupid flying around. Like I said, I like the kills. I like how they tied them into the holiday. Again, I wouldn't be mad if I was just like tuning in on, on Sci-Fi, like on a Sunday afternoon watching this thing. Don't pay for it. But if you see it somewhere, it was fine. It was fine. Like I said, I just like the kills, and the demon itself looked a little weird. Wasn't really sure about the look of the monster, but like I said, I've seen worse. So if there's anything out there that you're going to look at in terms of a movie, if you can see Wrinkles the Clown for free, check it out and see if you agree with me. If you don't, let me know. And I said
that's on Amazon Prime, you're saying? Possibly,
I think it is. Don't hold me to that because I drink a lot. So look for that. And like I said, I actually like the Tokoloshe. It's a slow burn. As I said, I would have preferred if they just kind of stuck to the psychological aspect and not so like spooky in your face. And if you see Cupid on Sci-Fi, watch Cupid on Sci-Fi with your sweetie. Give them a hug and think of me and Chris.
Gross.
All right. So I guess that's it. Hey, I guess I'll talk to you when I talk to you.
I'll smell you later.
All right, genius. Everybody, thank you for listening. As always, this is Johnny Thunder saying, I'll see you at Transworld, and stay scary.
I'm going now. Heaven help you.
Please like and follow the podcast. Stalk us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Links in the description. And help us by sharing Hauntcast with all your haunted Halloween brethren. Until next time, stay scary.